welcome to the second episode of Live Your Life by Design. Amazing. I believe that you joined the first episode of this conversation and you had a swell time. See, this conversation is very dear to my heart because of what it's going to do for everyone who take their time to listen, to it. And I just want to encourage you to stay on board as we converse, this time. So I started. This is for those who probably have not seen the first episode of this conversation, and I want to urge you to go watch it. It's on my channel here. But I'm going to do a quick recap of some of the things that we spoke about. I started talking about the possibility of living by design or living by default. All right, and I believe that this true way of living is except we begin to now break it down. That's just what you always find anywhere, anytime, any day, right? So I give an instance of a farm that is not cultivated, and maybe you leave it for some time and you discover that activities will be going on that land, right? Because life has to go on. I said that because the way we humans have been created, have been configured, is that we only find meaning through contribution. All right, we find meaning when we contribute our quota in life to people, to things, to that is how we find the the fulfillment for our soul, right? And this cut across every, whether or not you even believe in the idea of maybe a supreme being, this happens everywhere, right? We want to just feel like we are living by contributing. And I remember giving an illustration of the different parts of the body, different organs in the body, that each of these organs we have in the body cannot um, contribute value independently without being attached to other parts of the body. Your eyes, your mouth, your hand, your imagine the hand is not receiving signal from the brain, and the hand does not know what to illustrate. Do you understand? Imagine that you are eating and the food is going to just nowhere. Do you understand? So it means that the coordination amongst these organs is what makes the human body, and is what makes um everything come together and they look beautiful, right? So that means that you can always the different part of the body and their coordination mirrors the whole universe, the humans, the whole of our essence too. So it means the only way we have meaning, I mean, should I say one of the ways we have meaning is through contribution. And you can never take this away. You can never take this away. So now, since that is sorted, I say that there is now the possibility of you thinking that the fact that you are able to carry out activities means that you are meaningfully contributing. Do you see that? The fact that you are able to move your hands, be in motion, be busy with life, you may think that that equals to meaningful contribution. And that is where living by design and living by default comes in. That a person can, okay, let's take for instance a tree and the branch of a tree. A tree is supposed to produce fruits. If you want to go into the book of the beginning, what I mean by book of, I mean the Bible, you see that tree, they are supposed to produce fruit and all of that. But this same tree can be used for other things apart from producing fruit and all. You can cut it down, make furnitures out of it and all of that. beautiful things that can come out of the tree. But then, if you want to look at it, the primary and most essential thing this tree should do, or certain trees, right? Because there are some trees that they are used mainly for furnitures too. Maybe they don't really produce fruit; they just bring leaf and they are used for other functions. But if you look at trees that they are used, I mean, their sole purpose is to produce fruit, you find out that there are other things you can also do with them. So while they have primary assignments, they also have other things that people through their creativity can, use them for. And I mentioned that except you allow these designs, these trees to function primarily in what they have been designed to do, it means that they are not living by design. All right. Now, another example I gave was the land that is not cultivated but begins to grow grass is allowing that because activity has to go on. All right. So now, you as a person, because you can always look at nature and begin to look at the possibilities that are around, that surrounds your own life. All right. So how does that apply to me? How does that apply to you as a person? The fact that if you don't put intentional effort in making things work for you, things will work for you still. I think you get that. That if you do not put intentional effort in ensuring that you make the things you desire work for you, certain things will still work. Certain things will grow. It might just be that the things that are growing are not the things you desire, are not the things that you want. Do you understand? So meaning that if you leave a land fallow, it's not going to be useless. It's going to be useful. Activities will go on. Grass will grow. Microbes will have different microorganism. We begin to have the best time of their lives. Why? Because nobody is actively working on it. All right. So it means that is a life that lives by default. Everything goes, whatever happens. They are moved by trends. They are moved by the new, the whatever is in vogue now. Whatever people are saying. If people say this is the next direction, that's what they are doing. They can't stay on one thing for long. They can't follow through on any commitment. They cannot build from beginning to the end. They have no track record of staying with one thing, seeing it through, and saying that, oh yes, I built this from the beginning to the end. They're always jumping from one thing or the other. And I gave an example of someone who, if you're able to check the number of ideas that has crossed your mind, I don't think there is any crime in ideas crossing your mind. I think it is in a discipline to say this no, this no, this yes, I'm staying with this, I'm not going to have this. There are many ideas that can cross your mind, and it will never occur to you to even carry them out because of the fact that you understand your design, you understand what you're building, and you don't want to get your hands dirty and many things. So we began to look at all of this, and I also mentioned that there is something called the illusion of contribution, right? And that is what I mean. That was it was that part we stretched the more, and we saw. I asked us to reflect on our lives and see if we are contributing meaningfully, or we are contributing because we have to. If you are contributing meaningfully, or you are contributing because you have to, because it's your nature to contribute, because it's just one of those things that you must do. All right. So what we did in the previous episode was to run a diagnosis of what is going on around us. So today I'm going to step it a bit further. I'm going to show you a few more things. And so we are moving to some more like prescription of what to do, right? You just want to come to a point where we reflect and say that, okay, I don't think I've been intentionally living, by design. But now I want to, what do I do? If this is your question, you're saying, okay, what do I do from here? How do I start? What am I supposed to start putting in place? So, what is the first thing that I'm going to prescribe for you? Now, okay, let me just start with that. what's the first thing I want to prescribe for you? The first, having heard all of the things I have explained, the first is know where you are. Know where you are. The diagnosis, the reflection you do should bring you to a point where you now ask yourself, where am I in all of this? And I believe that um, we're going to have two categories of people largely under this. We have people who sincerely find out that they have not been living according to design. They have not been living, and does not matter the number of years you have spent. It's possible. It's possible you have not been really living intentionally according to your design. That's the first category of people. And the second category of people are those who know that they should be living by design. As a matter of fact, there is a witness within them. There is that voice telling them this is what you should be doing. This is the path you should take. But they are currently not even doing that. There's a way you can. What I'm saying is that there's a way you can really know a lot, but you do so little. And see, and also because we are also in the era of what do you call it now? Information age. You you can be so self-aware of both your strength and your limitations, but for some reasons you can't just get yourself to do what is right. You can't get yourself to do the needful. So that's another category of people. The first is those who don't even probably do not know, and it is now they are finding out that okay, I've not really been living intentionally according to design, right? And it's now I'm seeing it that it's where I can be useful but not productive, I can be useful but not fruitful, right? And another category is those who know what they should be doing, but they can't get themselves to do it. Listen to this. That you know what to do does not mean you will do it. That is the truth. It is not just information that sets free. It is the intentional decision and effort to convert what you know into actions, that helps you. It is not just because you know it. I was speaking somewhere yesterday and I said that the proof that you know something is not necessarily that you're able to explain it. Or let me say, okay, I think the word I used was the proof that you understand something is not that you're able to explain. There are many things you can explain, but you still do not understand. Because the proof of understanding is application. Whatever you understand and you cannot apply yet, it means that there's something still missing. Because the understanding must bring you to a point where you are asking yourself, okay, why have I not been carrying this out? Why have I not been practicing it? So it pushes you to want to do, to want to try. All right. So know where you are. Know where you are. And I think one of the things that you must, have that will assist you is be sincere with yourself. Be sincere with yourself. This is where I am currently. And the importance of this is that it helps you correctly diagnose the problem, then apply the right solution. Because if you are not asking the right question, you will get the wrong answer. And if you get the wrong answer, you are likely going to apply the wrong answer, just like using a wrong pill, for a sickness or a disease. So if you are feeling somehow and you just feel, this must be headache because the symptoms look like this must be headache, and you go ahead to use paracetamol, only for you to find out that it is something deeper than that. So most of the times, what we do is that we diagnose wrongly, and once you diagnose wrongly, you assume that this must be the solution, then you apply the solution and you keep repeating the cycle like that, and nothing seems to be working. Ask yourself, where am I? Where are you? What are you doing? Right? Have you, been living the way you should, or you have not been, doing anything at all, or you're in that category where you have so much, but there's nothing to really, show for it. So once you understand that, that it takes you to a point where you know you now begin to correctly separate the problem from the symptom, because they are two different things, right? Sometimes most times the outcome of our lives is just a sign or a pointer to where we are. Is more like is more like, what's the word now, results of something more internal, right? And if we are not able to pinpoint what that thing is, we keep trying to do everything we know how to do, and still the result will not change. All right, so know where you are, recognize your strengths, recognize your limitations. Maybe you may want to even recognize the disadvantages you had, the advantages or leverages you had. All right, you know and whatever it is, just come to a point where you say, okay, these are my issues, right? This is where I am currently, and okay, that will lead us to now check. And the second thing now you don't want to do is you now want to do an internal adjustment. Internal adjustment. Now, why internal adjustment? Because I think one of the challenges that people have, I've been there too. For instance, so let's say you observe someone and you think maybe you like their outcome, you like what they are doing, you like what they are building, and for some reason you just judge instantly that okay, it must be because they are doing this, that's why they are experiencing this. So when you observe that okay, you don't have this outcome in life, you want to do what they are doing so you can have the result they are having. That's not going to get you anywhere. Why? Because before they do what they are doing that got them the result, there must be a kind of person they are internally. It means that um, their identity must have adjusted to accommodate that kind of person. And that's where internal alignment comes in. Because you cannot do consistently what is not consistent with who you are, with your identity. Do you get that? You can't do consistently what is not consistent with who you are on the inside. So it means the first change must happen within you, not outside of you. So it is not what you do, it is who you are. It is how you see yourself. It is the configuration you have that you are on the inside. And you see, all of these configurations, they are things that you build over time. You spend time building your identity, building who you are. You spend time becoming the kind of person you are. It's now more like a programming. All right, it's a programming. There are some things that if you let me use an illustration so it will not you know be too far. Because I want to go into but let's leave that. So there has to be that internal adjustment, internal alignment, becoming that kind of person. For instance, if you discover that from your diagnosis, you just found out that you have missed out on many opportunities, you don't start by looking out for opportunities. You want to look at why have you been missing out on opportunities? What kind of character do you have that allows you to miss out on opportunities? You want to change that person. Maybe there are things you do, kind of places you attend. I mean, event that you should be attending that you're not attending, and somehow for some reasons you don't resonate with those kind of things. You want to first change that narrative within you, the self concept. So it starts from who you are on the inside. So ask yourself, who am I on the inside of me? If you have heard that the spiritual controls the physical, see that spiritual as not something esoteric. See it as something internal. See it as something internal. That what you are on the outside is controlled by who you are on your inside. So how do you work on who you are on your inside? You start working on what goes inside of you, because you learn certain things, you know, consistently before you get here. You must unlearn those things and relearn new things to now make you the kind of person that can take you from this point to another point. And we must learn to know when what we used to know can no longer serve us, and what we serve us, what we carry us from now on, must be something that is entirely, maybe not necessarily new, but that is relevant to where we are going. Sometimes what you are just learning, they are not new things, they are just relevant, but they are alien to your design. I don't know if you understand. They are not new, they have always been there. If you look at it critically, you find out that those who have been to where you are currently aiming at, they have been doing that same thing. They have that kind of mindset, they have that kind of wiring. It is just that it is alien to you because you have not interacted with it for long. You have not interacted with it. So you want to check um what you interact with, what comes to you. When they say your it is from your heart that the issues of life flows out from. Guard your heart diligently, for out of it flows out the issues of life. So it means that the issues of life that flows out from your heart is like the byproduct. What enters into your heart is the raw material. So it means that your heart does not manufacture life issues or issue of life, as the case may be. Your heart, your mind now does not manufacture. It processes whatever life gives it. All right. So you now begin to mirror whatever you have taken in. So if that is the arrangement, then it means that what I want to change is what I take in. What comes into me is what I want to change. So you want to be intentional. You want to be very intentional and be very brutal about what you hear, what you see, what you spend time consuming. All right, because these are the things that controls what you create. They are the things that control what you create. So, what do you spend your time on? What kind of, and let me help you with something. Listen to this. Because you have spent time interacting with certain um, way of life, certain lifestyle for long, it might be difficult for you to replace those habits or to stop those habits. I found out that sometimes even habits might not be it might not be easy for you to stop habits. What you do is that you replace those habits with other things that are relevant. I mentioned something recently now that you have to check what the things that are relevant to where you are going, right? So sometimes you might not be able to totally stop an habit. Take for instance, you have an habit of scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, binging, just do all manner of things online. If it has become a second nature, it might be difficult for you to stop it immediately. Maybe, for instance, you just heard this and say, have you not tried it, that you want to change something, you want to stop it, but probably you do it for a day or 24 or some days, and you're not able to keep up with it. That's because your brain already adjusted to it, and somehow the same way you can be hungry and your tummy is asking for food, and sometimes for a particular kind of food, that's where your brain too can be asking for certain things that you have fed it over time. So what do you do? Sometimes what you do, I can't be sure, I'm not sure if it is in all cases, but sometimes there's something you can do that you can replace that habit. You won't stop scrolling per se, right? But you can now be scrolling but you are feeding on something that helps your mind instead of things that will not add to you. So you spend that time. So for instance, if you know that you always slide into your into your socials, go on media, and in the middle of work, you spend 1 hour just laughing and hysterically, and just from there you can spend 3 hours and you are lost. You're trying to get yourself back. That time, at least you can condition your mind to say, okay, this time I want to use it to watch a podcast. That this podcast, I know that if I listen to it, it affects my mind somehow. It challenges me, it encourages me, it pushes me to do something. If you do it consistently, you are creating new interest. You are informing your neural pathways that, okay, let's replace this time and this habit with this new habit. It will easily adjust to it to a point where you are not able to be comfortable with those old habits again. All of this illustration I'm giving is just this one is just an example. All of this illustration is just to tell you that whatever it is you want to change or you want to work on must start from within first. It must start from within, because we don't just produce, we do not just create, we consume to produce. Everything that we see on the outside reflects what we have on the inside. So if you want to change your outcome, you want to start by changing what you have on the inside. Who you are, how you see yourself, the things you consume. And that way it begins to inform, the person of the inside. And in doing this, I believe that this time is one of the funniest and greatest time to be alive. And what do I mean by that? You and I were alive at a time where distraction is cheap. Distraction is very cheap. It's cheap in the sense that it is common. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. You do not need to be rich to be able to afford it. You don't need to be rich to be able to afford it. All you need is just have 1 gig. I don't think you need to be rich to have 1 gig to afford 1 gig. Just have a smartphone and have 1 gig on your phone, and and you'll be able to afford it. That's just this. That's the small price you pay for distraction, and you find out that you will not be able to. So once you have found out where you are, found out, okay, these are the things I must do. You know what? Recently, I reached out to one of my mentors. I said, I think it was after a session, and I said, I just discovered a new enemy I need to dethrone. I said, this is the enemy. I need to dethrone it. I said in the letter, I said, I don't know what I should be doing, what exactly I should do, but I know what I should not do, and I know how to ride against the tide. All right. So it means that I want to now change certain things. Like, this is the wave, right? And if you are going to, because you don't make the wave, you flow with the wave, right? But if this wave now has consistently put you on a pedestal that you do not like, you have to ride against it. You have to go against it. All right. And that's the whole, I mean, what I just described now explains what I've been trying to say. That you have observed that something has not served you for long, and you want to do something differently because you don't manufacture the wave, you ride against the wave. All right. So you now go deep to see these are the things I want to do. But distraction is another thing that will not allow you to be able to stay consistent on your decisions. So you want to fight distraction. I don't have 10 rules for you on how to fight distraction. But if your destiny matters a lot to you, and you want to fight whatever will not get you or allow you get to where you want to get to, allow you achieve the things you want to achieve, you are not going to sit down and lie to yourself as though you don't know the things you should be doing and the things that will not allow you get those things done. You have to be sincere with yourself, and that, you know I've been in certain rooms, certain places, and one of the most recent questions I've anybody has asked me is, what is stopping you from becoming who you want to become now? I want you to write that question and answer it genuinely. What do you think? And before you even ask that question and answer it, you want to first ask yourself, what do you think you should be doing? Or at what level do you see yourself operating in currently? Then now ask yourself, what is that one thing stopping you? It will take you to be sincere to answer that question and say, I think the one thing that can stop me is this. So once you're able to pinpoint it, then you go for it. You go for it like you want to really it's a battle, it's a warfare. You go for it. And in going for it, it means that sometimes you will not spare yourself. You won't spare yourself. Because many of the times we know what to do differently, just that we cannot get access to do them. We can't get access to do the things we should do. So in getting yourself living intentionally by design, you will have to stop sparing yourself. You have to stop sparing yourself. You have to go hard. Go hard on yourself. Shut your distractions. Starve your distractions. Stop feeding it. Stop feeding it. Stop making it look important. And whatever it is you know that you can do, because sometimes we cannot give a general answer or solution to things like this. Sometimes you have to get a customized solution depending on the nature of what you are fighting. So the best you can do for yourself is to be sincere with yourself. I know this is one enemy. One enemy. And if I want to fight and win this enemy, let me help you. I believe that there are enemy within and there are enemy without. Enemy within, what do I mean by that? They are the internal antagonists that you fight. A good example would be distraction that I mentioned, procrastination, indiscipline, inconsistency. Name them. Just keep mentioning the different things. Or probably you are the kind that you can call fear, doubt, self-doubt, you know, different things. These are enemies within. These are enemies within. And you see, as enemies within, as they are not as powerful as enemy without. What makes them powerful is that they speak. They are more like one with whoever they latch on, right? And they keep people small. If you are able to overcome it and break free, you will now that's when you now begin to face the enemy without. This enemy without will now be weapons formed against you from the outside, from people, from systems, And I believe that before you even get to that point, you must have fought. It means that your life must be about something. And before your life is about something, it means that you must get to a point where you believe in yourself. There's no self-doubt, you're not procrastinating. Because nobody fights what is not really, out there, what does not make sense, what is not contributing. Alright? So before you can even attract enemy without external factors fighting you, it means that you must be touching them where it pains them. You must be touching the means of their livelihood. Some people's what they are doing does not affect anybody, does not tamper with anybody's business. Do you understand what I'm saying? That you must have gotten to yourself to a point where you have contributed meaningfully, that whatever it is you are building is bad business for others, right? Is making certain people go bankrupt. That's when you can now begin to see saying people say they are using system to fight you. But until you get to that point, whatever it is you are fighting is like enemy inside of you. Is that small voice telling you you are not enough. That small voice telling you you cannot do it. That small voice saying, you are not, you don't have advantage, you don't have leverage like others. Look at the limited resources that you have at your disposal. All of those things, they are still within. And these are the things that even fight those who are even trying to break out of smallness. So if you are still at that level, you are playing small. You are playing small, right? So the moment you are able to forget all of the noise, all of those things, and you build something that people can reckon with, it is not yet a time for you to start dancing. It just means that you have welcomed more issues. But this time around, from systems, from people that. Do you know that if, for instance, you help people come out of ignorance, there are people who are benefiting from the ignorance of others? And if that business of getting people out of ignorance is now doing well, then you are attracting enemies from those who benefit from keeping people in ignorance. That's a good example of what I'm saying. So, but the first enemy you are going to fight is that thing telling you that, even you that you want to help someone, you need help. So you're feeling like, hey, I'm not enough, I can't help anybody. Then you not offer the help. But if you can consistently beat yourself, win yourself, you will not spare yourself, and do what you need to do, right? And still step out to do things and help people, and people now begin to say, oh wow, how can you help me? How can you help me? Oh, you have won at level 1. The level 2 now is that the moment you are helping people come out of ignorance, you have inherited a new enemy. You have inherited a new enemy. And this one is not going to be fierce, because it is not against yourself, it is against others. Because you are spoiling business for them. You see what I'm saying now? So distraction is just one of those things that affect people at the first level of warfare. Do you understand that? So that's I'm tempted to begin to give examples and all of that can help us. But I believe it's a lot clear, you know. Take for instance, Aliko Dangote is the richest man in Africa, right? At the level he has, I believe he has fought and won that internal enemy. Because there are many businesses you know of this guy, but you also know that many businesses he tried, yet he failed. He tried doing many things, he failed at them. But he has done a lot of things, a lot of businesses that that are succeeding currently. So at that level, there, I'm not sure he can be freaked by many things. He has seen a lot. He has tried many things. All right, so he knows that okay, at most, the voice telling me that I can't do it will be silenced by the time I tried and I failed. Okay, I've made a statement for myself. Do you understand? But now at this level, one of the enemies is going to have is, for instance, people who are benefiting from exporting what's it called now? Crude oil and importing oil. Do you understand? You're going to have issues from them because it's spoiling business for them. So that's the good example of what I'm saying. So if you're still at a level where you're still fighting basic things, oh, it's genuine. But you need to know that you have to beat that. You have to win, right? So it's a funny time that we are in, and you don't need to be very rich to be able to afford it. You will see it, you find it online, you just do all manner of things. The next thing I think um anybody who wants to live intentionally by design should not do, after having seen all of these things that I've described, is that you want to find a community of people that look like where you are going, or people that are already there. People that look like where you are going, or people that are already there. This will do a lot to your mind, in the sense that you get to have certain conversations that paint the picture of the future. If it is a community filled with people who are on their way, the conversations will be centered around all of that. If it is a community filled with people who are already there, you are seeing what you can become. You are seeing example of what is possible around your own life. Because that's one of the things that that kind of community will do to you. It helps you see possibilities. It helps you see that okay, this can be, I can get this done too. But if you want to, you know, live that live by design and you don't have such community, don't have such environment, you can be lost in the crowd. You can be lost in the crowd. As a matter of fact, if you have friends and you are the smartest person amongst your friends, I think you should go and look for more, go and enlarge your association. And these things that I'm sharing with us, you must do them intentionally. You must Part of your goal should be, I want to enlarge my association. I want to elevate my association. Sometimes, do you know that sometimes we can weary out our current association? Maybe the associations you have, they have done their best. They've given you all they can give. And all you need to do is just increase it. Just stretch the borders of your space. Let enter into most communities. Let other people come into your space. You know, let me flip it back a bit. I said that everything that exists meaningfully through contribution. The same principle works for what I just shared now. That you can have a group of, say, friends of five, and maybe you have exhausted all that community can give you. It's possible. So you may need to now look for other places, other communities that will be able to serve you what is not currently available in the community that you are, or in the circle that you are. I don't know if you get that. That you have a circle. And I'm even saying these are circles that deliver to you consistently. But it's possible that you have outstretched the limits and all of the things, the goodies that this circle has to offer. All right. I'm not talking about exiting. I'm talking about now seeking opportunities out elsewhere, so you can either strengthen this, or so that you can expand the possibilities that are available for you. Oh yes. Oh yes. So you want to find such community. You want to be on the lookout. If this, for instance, you are building something, you're asking yourself, what community can I be a part of that directly impact on what I'm building? What community can I join? There was I heard a statement one time, and I think it's true. It said information flows in communities. Do you know that many of the opportunities we that that is available to the masses, they are not every time an information is available to the masses, it has already been juiced. The juice they have been taken by those who had access to it in the beginning. Just know that if anything comes to the public, certain people have leaked out whatever is in that thing. Again, I mean, it happens every time. It happens every time. So if you are going to really be ahead, you have to be in certain groups, certain communities, be around certain people. So you can't be a part of the crowd and you really want to be, live intentionally according to design. Why? Because do I even want to go into that? When we talk about distraction on social media, there are many things that are on social media that they are intentionally engineered to keep people busy so that they cannot be building intentionally. Because the moment you start to build intentionally, we are going to increase, it means that they are increasing the number of people who are enlightened, who are awakened. So it is business to some people that many people are not enlightened. Do you know that even this whole idea of certain businesses like MMM, all those things that crashed one time, those who benefited from those businesses were those who were first movers, who had access to the information when it was fresh. Yeah, many things like that. So somehow it's just the construct of the society, right? That information flows in communities, sometimes closed communities. And if you can just be intentional enough, be hungry enough to want to be a part of certain places, being intentional enough to be in certain rooms, I think you are going to find them. And let me now add to it at this point that some of the things you desire, they are not cheap. It is distraction that is cheap. But you see, information, certain circles, they are not cheap. They are not. They are not. There are things you are going to hear freely and they will blow your mind. Only for you to know that. Have you seen recently something happened that a well-known real estate mogul said he was going to have a mentorship, and I think I can't remember, it was millions of naira. People said all manner of things, blasted, said all things. And I think one of the funniest comment I saw was, "What do you want to teach that we don't know?" Or what is it exactly? People just feel like we have seen it all. What test do you want to tell us? That whoever can make that amount of money and ask it to pay for mentorship do not need your mentorship. Whoever can make, for instance, 30 million naira and can afford to pay for mentorship for 30 million, that person does not need mentorship of 30 million naira. The person should just go and do what he used to do before, so he can keep doing it. Which is a valid point, but information flows in communities. That person might be paying that amount of money only not even for any new thing per se, might be paying to have access to maybe certain places, certain people, certain information that he might not be able to get with all of his money being with him. But the fact that he's able to buy access into that community, he will now meet someone that knows something and where to get it. Or you see people who cannot really stretch, who does not people who don't understand what this whole thing means. They just feel like, why would I pay such amount for so and so and so and so and so? Oh God. So you want to try everything possible to detach yourself from the crowd, because the crowd only has information that the juice has been mixed out. That's one of the things you must do intentionally for yourself. Try. You see, because it is not by saying I'm not part of the masses that takes you out of the masses. You can say it, you can confess it, you can do manner of things, jump and shout, and you're still part of the masses. Because one of the ways you just check is what are the information at your disposal. So you want to try everything possible to disassociate yourself from common information. That is where the crowd is. Find ways to enter into certain places, certain rooms. And this will require you to spend money, spend time. Sometimes you have to save your way up. Sometimes you have to buy your way up. Alright? Because you need this information. These are the information that will now help you rewire your mind. Because I know that this is one of the best things to do, because books alone will not get you things. In fact, there are books that you don't know that they can change your life until you get to certain places and tell you there's a book you should go and read. Is it not what they make available that you go? You see, you don't really have options if you're among the crowd, because your options are options that have been premeditated. They are the options that are displayed before you. So even the choice of books you read, there are books that everybody reads. So there's nothing new. There's nothing new. So you want to ensure you get out of the noise. You withdraw from the crowd, buy your way into certain communities, buy your way into certain rooms, so you can have access to what is not common. I tell you the truth, it is not the common things that make men. It is not the common cheap knowledge that make men. I said this jokingly. Have you not discovered that those who make money are those who teach people how to make money? They'll now begin to do it. Type interested if you're interested. Type interested if you're interested. And a lot of people have paid only for a lot of people to now get to use those things, and they find out that I can't even do it like you are doing it. Oh, I've seen it. Which have done those things. But it's just the act. So it means that you have to find a way to get to places where you have access to information. Have access to information. I believe that if you're able to do all of these things, just the way I've explained, diagnose, do a diagnosis, reflect on where you are, know what the challenges, know your strength, know your limitation. When you know your strength, double down on it. Don't overanalyze your weakness. Don't don't praise it too much. Listen to this. Everybody has weaknesses. Everybody. Even your heroes. They have things they are struggling with. They have things they are not good at. It will amaze you. Research show that most people who are even fluid public speakers still have stage fright when they want to speak. The only issue is that nobody knows who is afraid. Everybody just come up and enter into character, and all of the noise, the fear, those things disappear. So don't overexalt your weakness. Just do what you have to do. So know your weaknesses, know your limitations, double down on your strength, increase it, right? Be Let it fuel your eyes, your sight, and you find out in no distant time those weaknesses begin to reduce, right? Then begin to ride against the tide. Do what you would not normally do. Work Let your work be channeled towards changing who you are internally, right? Because that is what controls who you are on the outside. If you are not able to change who you are on the inside, you can't affect your outcome in life. You must now see differently. You must believe differently. Believe in yourself differently. Believe in the world around you differently. Believe in people differently. You can't be the kind of person who still today sees people as fraud. Everybody you meet, there are people that want to cheat you and take advantage of you. You must learn to now see people in a different light. It has to be from the inside. You have to change all of those things internally. Change all of those things internally. Change your routine, work on your habits, work on your mindset, get books, read books, everything that you know you need to do that we solve the problem internally first, then you need to do them. So once you do that, you will now begin to see the outcome of your life changing. You see you know, the changes. And listen to this. It's not going to be sudden. It's going to be gradual. It's not going to be just once. It's going to be gradual. And this is where people get it wrong. Sometimes we want the change to be immediate. The change you're looking for will take time. It took you time to build yourself to become who you are, to house all of the limitations, all the baggages you have. It will take you time to unlearn those things and to learn new things. So give yourself grace. Take time. Yes, take time to rewire your mind. Take time to rewire your mind and do what is necessary, but give it time. Give it time. But if you can stay consistently in those things, you will now see that your appetite is changing. You see that your outcome is changing. Your decisions, you are making a more educated, calculated decisions, influenced by the things you have learned, influenced by who you are now. Maybe before you would have done things this way, but because there is a new operating system at work now, you begin to make informed decisions. That's where you begin to see that, oh, I think something has happened. I've changed. I'm no longer this kind of person anymore. Then from there, you now check the internal enemies, of which distraction is a major one. What is that one thing that will stop you from staying true to your commitment? fight it headlong. Fight it headlong. And listen to this, in fighting these internal enemies, willpower is not enough. Willpower is not enough. I believe that one of the things that will help you is right structures. Right structures. Willpower is telling yourself that you are going to do it, you know, and the only thing you depend on is the ability to get yourself up and do it. Structure is you're going to do it and you put a clause, you commit to a time or to a location. Do you understand? That's structure. So not just say, oh, I'll wake up and I'll do a podcast. No. But saying that I'm doing a podcast so date, so time, and probably you have to, you know, put certain things in place. The moment you enter into that mode, just flow. Or if you just say, I want to do a podcast this week, you will not do it. I want to do a podcast on Monday by so time. I want to bring so person, even invite the person, tell the person without telling the person the topic first. Or just say we are going to have so thing. And you have, do you understand? All of those things that conditions you to do the right thing. Not just saying that you trust your willpower. Those things are not reliable. They can carry you, but they will not carry you for long. Then I also mentioned that you now find a community. So be on the lookout for such communities. Never do life alone. Never do life alone. Find communities that can, where you can be friends, circles, that hearing them talk about money alone can make you feel like, wow, I love this conversation, so I can get this done. Because maybe even growing up, you grew up in a place where those conversations, it's possible for you to grow up in a place where those conversations are not, they are not common, or they feel they should. For instance, let me give you a good example. In the house one day, we were talking about, myself and my wife were talking about expenses, and she was trying to quote the amount because of someone that was there. I said, why are you quoting it? Say it. Let her be comfortable with big numbers. Do you know there's a way you can be, you know, I remember my mom telling me sometimes ago that when anytime we're talking about maybe money, or we're talking about, I just say, 1 million. We're just talking, it might not even be money like we have it there. We're just talking about millions of naira. I say, don't talk, don't shout. Oh, I don't know, you don't know who is passing by. Don't say they will not come and rob me by midnight. I say, why? So because we are afraid of people robbing us by midnight, we don't have those conversations. And the only time you have heard of big amount of money is when you are doing probably accounting in school, that balancing sheet, or you are reading. Listen to this. The only time you talk about big money is when you are reading news of one person frauding, engaging in fraud, or what's the word now? Someone who took a large sum of money belonging to government and went away with it. That's the only time you hear conversations around big money. Somehow it tells you that the only way to have such kind of money is to steal it. Yes, it does something to your mind. You think that the only way to have it is to steal it. It's conditioning. So I had to tell her, see, let her have it there. Let's talk about those amount of money. Don't hide it. So that person can be comfortable hearing it. And that way is not far. It's not far from her. The possibility of owning is okay, because now we see someone up close who probably has that money and is willing to even spend it. Not the one is seen on the news that this person is arrested for embezzlement of something billion. I need to write that down. So you have to be in such communities where you just hear the big numbers. You just hear it. There's some places you enter, you'll not be comfortable because of the big numbers there. Train your mind. Be there. Be there. Let it, you know, hear those things. Hear those things. Maybe not money too, of exploits. You will hear account stories of exploits. Oh, we had an event and we had 3,000 participants, and maybe you have been struggling with even having or even starting one at all. You have been struggling with having 50 people attend your event. But when you get to a place where people are talking about, we had an event last year and we had 3,000 people participated in the event, it does something to your mind. It's not every time you join a committee and what the committee will give you is money. The committee can also give you exposure. And exposure is in those little talks too. Say, so are you saying that you have an event? Well, 3,000 people from where? Right? You're now thinking of, wow, is it possible? I can also have an event and thousands of people will come. We register for the event and they will show up. Do you understand? So such communities give you exposure, give you opportunities, give you many things that you might not even know that they are there. So I believe that if you want to live by design, live intentionally, you must put all of this work, these things that I've listed out, put them in place, and that becomes the foundation for rewriting the story that you have told with your life, told with your efforts, told with everything you have done with your actions. So I'm going to call it a day here. I believe you have gotten a few things that you want to do, because the essence of all of this is not to add them to the things, the list of things you know, but that even while you are listening, you are watching now, you are thinking of what you are going to start doing. You are already putting things in place to act out the things you've heard. That is the beauty of all of it. And that's how you can make judicious use of the things you've heard. And I believe that tonight's conversation has helped you and has given you perspective on how to ride against the tide, build again, build afresh, regardless of what it is you are building. And I believe that you will not only know those things, but you are going to actively work on them. Till we see again, thank you very much. Do not forget to share this with your friends, subscribe, and also drop what stood out for you in this conversation. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in our next session.